There are 8 members on Rimba Rangers, as you can see on the screen. And today we would like to present about innovation of silviculture techniques for rehabilitation of production forests. We analyzed Sadonoa et al. 2019 journal entitled Land Suitability for Kajuput Development and its Influence on Silviculture Strategy. There are 8 points for today's outline. Well, for other Rimba Ranger members, the time is yours.
Condition of Indonesian production forest areas. Indonesia is a big nation with 120.6 million hectares or 63% of the nation's entire land area designated as the forest area, kawasan hutan. Production forest is one of the 3 main classifications found in the forest area to produce forest products and covers a total area of 68.8 million hectares or 57% of the forest area. Indonesia's production forest concessions have been granted for 30.6 million hectares and 38.2 million hectares are without concession. The area granted in concessions above 61% are for the selective felling of natural forest timber (IUPHHKHA) and 37% are for the planting of industrial timber (IUPHHK-HT). In order to increase the economic value of production forests, a paradigm shift is underway from timber management to forest lands management. Forest management is oriented toward multiple uses of the nation's forests, both timber and non-timber forest products, as well as environmental services.
Problems in Indonesian production forest area. In the range of 2013-2016, forest cover in the production forest area decreased to 101,000 hectares, of which HPH contribute to deforestation of 13.5 thousand hectares. Can be seen in the following table. Deforestation rate of production forests in Indonesia include Sumatra, West Papua, and Kalimantan. Deforestation in production forests may be caused by unsustainable logging performance or the granting of HPI concession to forest areas that are still in conservation of natural forests for other designations such as plantation. In addition, production forest areas can also be burdened with loan permit to use forest areas for the exploitation process of the mining sector, which can have an impact on deforestation.
Kajuput and its benefits for the forestry industry. Do you know? Kajuput is a plant that has an important role in the development of the forestry industry. This plant provides various benefits ecologically, economically, and socially. Kajuput is included in the fast-growing species category, which can be used to accelerate the succession process on critical lands such as karst areas and peat ecosystem restoration. Kajuput is very adaptive to be cultivated through an agroforestry system, thus increasing opportunities to support food security programs. Kajuput leaves contain essential oils that are useful for the pharmaceutical and cosmetic industries. Until now, Kajuput oil has become a non-timber forest product which has high economic value with a very prospective market potential. Even though it has high adaptability to various environmental conditions, Kajuput productivity varies depending on the characteristic of the land that it is habitat. Related to this, in principle, Kajuput will grow well in all lands with a relatively flat configuration. in dry areas with an annual rainfall of less than 1,500 mm per year, natural soil acidity with low organic matter content. Therefore, the land suitability level identified in the Kajiput development location, which is located in the Kubu Forest Management Resort or RPH, this information will then be used to formulate silvicultural technique that can be used to support Kajiput development in the area.
4. Research location in case study. Research location in this case study is RPH Kubu located in Kabupaten Gunung Kidul, located between 7.92 7.95 degrees south and 110.48 110.55 degree east. The area of RPH Kubu reaches 645 hectares, covering 5 rural areas, namely Banaram, Getas, Ngeri, Ngunut, and Bleberan, dominated by karst hills, including the Ledok Wonosari zone. The elevation of the area varies between 100 until 200 meters above sea level, with a slope of up to 8 until 25%. The climatic conditions in this area are included in Category C according to Smith and Ferguson, with rainfall ranging from 1,700 until 2,000 mm per year. The ambient temperature reaches 22.3 until 32.4 degrees Celsius, with a relative humidity of about 80 until 85%. Has 2 types of soil, namely alfisol and vertisol. There are 2 types of forestry communities developed in this area, namely teak and eucalyptus.
Land characteristic in Kajiput development priority plots in RPH Kubu. Next, table of land characteristic. The table shows that there is no temperature variation in every plot. In other words, the temperature range of all plots are same, but there is a different rainfall level in the plots. In general, the rainfall in 3 plots belong to the low category in range 1,500 to 1,750 mm per year. Besides the rainfall parameter, the soil components include soil acidity and organic matter content also show this difference in every plot. Plot 75 is the lowest soil acidity, where the lowest organic matter content as found in plot 80. According to the classification of soil acidity level and organic matter content, all of the plots has categorized as low soil acidity level and low to high organic matter content. Next, analysis of land characteristics. The result of land suitability scoring with story methods shows that land suitability class and the 3 of the plots belong to the M1 category. It means not suitable for now. The output is different from root square method that shows the land suitability is in the S3 category, that means suitable to the marginal. Every plot has its different limitations attributed to the growth of Kajiput. The slope and rainfall are main limitation attributed to the plot 75. On the other hand, organic matter content is an inhibitor to the growth of Kajiput in the plot 80. The inhibitor or limitation attributes that belong to the plot 78 are elevation and rainfall.
Land suitability class in Kajiput development plots. Okay, to determine land suitability classes for identification for silvicultural techniques, based on research conducted by journals, to determine the level of land suitability to formulate silvicultural technique that can be used to support effort to develop eucalyptus in the area. Evaluation of land suitability is carried out through a matching system method, which is to compare land characteristics with the prerequisites for eucalyptus growth. Then, the land index value is calculated using the story and root square methods through mathematical equation.
Based on the calculation on the previous slide, the soil classification is obtained based on the table below. The result of land suitability with theory method indicate that the land suitability class on the dash plot is categorized to 5. S1 very suitable, S2 suitable, S3 marginal, and 1 not suitable, and 2 very not suitable. There are differences in land attributes which become a limiting factor for each plot. It was for 4 land characteristics which become limiting factor in eucalyptus cultivation, namely elevation, land slope, rainfall, and organic matter content.
Alright, we have 3 silvicultural techniques that we can use to solve this problem. The first one with terrace method, and the second one with cropping pattern, and the third one with soil fertilization. So, the terrace method is method of growing crops on side of hills or mountains by planting on graduate terrace built into the slope. And the advantage from this method is more effectively to maximize arable land area in variable terrains and to reduce soil erosion and water loss. And the second method is cropping pattern. Cropping pattern is model of raising crops which help in obtaining maximum benefit from the same piece of land, reduce risk of crop failure, disease, and infestation. There is 3 common types of cropping patterns that we usually use. There are mixed cropping, intercropping, and crop rotation.
Soil fertilization is supplementing the existing soil with additional needed nutrients for plants. According to Horiba Instrument Singapore, the soil pH between 6 until 7.5 is acceptable for most plants. However, pH result for all plots in this research is between 5.5 until 6.5, and it's including slightly acid, according to Nandini and Narendra 2012. Plot 78 and 80 have pH between 5.5 until 6. It can be happened because of high ammonium ions content on soil. As you can see on the picture, an ammonium ion can release 2 hydrogen ions through nitrification process. Many H+ ions will increase the soil acidity. So, the low nitrogen fertilizer is needed for plot 78 and 80 to decrease the acidity of soil. The organic fertilizer is needed to increase the carbon content in soil on the plot 80 because of its low carbon percentage. Our recommendation for plot 78 and 80 are straw and sawdust fertilizer base. It's because both of them have high C/N ratio. According to USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service 2011, there is a table shows some organic materials with different C/N ratio. It's suggested to choose organic fertilizer with medium decomposition rate because the higher C/N ratio will cause the higher possibility of increasing carbon concentration on the atmosphere.
8. Conclusion. Evaluation of land suitability using the root square method shows more relevant result. The land suitability class in the eucalyptus development plot in the Gubuk Rubuh RPH as a whole is categorized as S3. Land attributes that are a limiting factor for eucalyptus growth vary for each plot, including elevation, slope, rainfall, and organic matter content. Silvicultural technique that can be applied to increase the carrying capacity of eucalyptus land include making terrace, setting cropping patterns, and soil fertilizing. Based on the result, it is necessary to carry out the process of identifying the suitability of land for the development of eucalyptus plant in other location intended for commercial purpose so that the productivity of eucalyptus can be increased with appropriate silvicultural prescriptions. This is the reference that we use in this presentation. We are from Rimba Rangers. Say thank you for your attention and good morning.